This past weekend was the DC Fandom event where DC Comics held several panels discussing upcoming movies and video games. And in one of these panels, writer and director James Gunn provided the first real glimpse of the Suicide Squad movie coming out in 2021. Now, back in September, Gunn tweeted out an announcement with the film's logo and the cast. And the cast list was pretty impressive, being filled with several big name and overall interesting actors. Now, during the DC Fandom panel, we found out which characters that the cast would play. Well, all except for one particular cast member, and that's Taika Waititi. I found it very suspicious that he was the only cast member from the initial post not to have his role disclosed, especially for Waititi being such a high-profile person nowadays. Like, he just won an Oscar. He's been in The Mandalorian. He's been directing and acting in the MCU these past couple years. So for sure, like, James Gunn and Warner Brothers must know that the fans would be very curious about who he would play in the movie. That's why I'm going to go over some of the potential characters that I think Taika Waititi could portray in the new Suicide Squad. Now I will touch on some rumors surrounding the film, so if that's not something you're comfortable on knowing, then just be warned that there's some potential spoilers ahead. Alright, so the first potential character that I think Waititi could play is King Shark. Now I know what some of you might be typing away in the comments right now, but they already confirmed that Steve Agee's King Shark. You have to pay close attention to what James Gunn actually said during the panel.
Steve Agee is John Economos and our on-set King Shark.
Yes.
On-set King Shark.
He specifically referred to him as the on-set King Shark. And in a later tweet from Steve Agee himself, he clarifies that he was the on-set reference for King Shark. Also, it was pretty suspicious that during the roll call of all the characters during the event, King Shark was the only character to not have the name of the actor shown off with the logo for the character. This leads me to believe that King Shark will be voiced by a completely different actor. Thus, the possibility of him being voiced by Taika Waititi. Although King Shark hasn't been portrayed as having a New Zealand accent thus far, I think the change is actually not so far-fetched. Just for some background, King Shark is a character that's from Hawaii. So it is possible that James Gunn is attempting to highlight the character's Polynesian roots by casting Waititi, who himself is of Polynesian descent, being from New Zealand and having Maori ancestry. The one thing that doesn't quite add up is why they wouldn't just announce that Taika is voicing King Shark right then and there. Why would they have the secrecy? Because of this, I think that it's quite possible that Taika is playing a character that has not yet been announced for the film. There has been some rumors floating around the internet that the classic Justice League villain Starro is going to be the main villain of the movie. Sometimes known as Starro the Conqueror, Starro is an alien creature who's capable of creating miniature clones of itself that can attach to the host's face and can control their minds. I honestly have no idea where these rumors come from, and I couldn't find any sources online, so take that information with a grain of salt. However, if this does end up being true, this could be Taika Waititi's role in the Suicide Squad, maybe. That would explain why they haven't publicly revealed Waititi's role, as they either are waiting for a future trailer to reveal the main villain, or they want to keep it a surprise altogether. And another theory that I saw pop up a few times online is one that I frankly think has a very little chance of being true. It's the theory that Taika Waititi will be playing the Joker. I find this hard to believe for a couple of reasons. For one, I expect the Joker to have little to no presence in this new Suicide Squad movie whatsoever. Secondly, why would they add another new interpretation of the Joker into the Suicide Squad? Even though they haven't clearly defined if the new movie is a sequel or a reboot of the 2016 Suicide Squad, I wouldn't expect them to pass over Jared Leto to reprise his role as the Joker, seeing as how they decided against recasting Will Smith's Deadshot with Idris Elba. Instead, they decided to give Elba his own new character, being Bloodsport. Now, this next potential character is a bit of a stretch, and it's something that I came up with on my own, actually. Alright, bear with me, okay? Now, during the panel, James Gunn mentioned that one of his favorite villains and a character that he admitted to wanting to add into the Suicide Squad movie was the interdimensional imp, and Batman's most annoying superfan, the one and only Batmite.
Bruh.
Or wait. Before you click off the video, just hear me out, alright? Alright. What if you mention Batmite only to dismiss him from having a role in the movie as a way to misdirect the fans? I mean, Batmite is the type of offbeat and zany character that I would picture resonating well with Taika Waititi. However, there is one major blow to this theory, and that's the possible conflict in tones between Batmite and the
gritty 1970s war movie
James Gunn seems to be going for his Suicide Squad movie. So maybe James Gunn wasn't actually trying to misdirect the fans, and he seriously couldn't find a way to add Batmite into the movie. That's entirely possible and probably more likely. Okay, my final theory as to who Taika Waititi could play in Suicide Squad is anybody. I mean, pretty much any character. I mean, there are countless villains from throughout the history of DC Comics that James Gunn could have pulled into this movie. So who knows who Waititi would play? He could be playing Kite Man or Condiment King for all I know. He could be playing an original character created by Gunn just for the movie, which would be a character that none of us would be able to guess. Who could even just play himself? We honestly don't know. Who knows? The only thing we do know is that we'll find out when the movie comes out in August 2021. Man, now I actually really want Condiment King to be in the Suicide Squad movie. Great. Now I just set myself up for disappointment. Anyway, bye guys.